Salut à tous, allez, documentaire donc And We Go Green sur la Formule E qui a été créée par Leonardo DiCaprio. Voyons ensemble ce documentaire. Ça dure 1h38, j'accélère en 1,25 et on verra si ça passe sur la chaîne ou pas du coup. Let's go. Je l'ai jamais vu, hein, donc je découvre en même temps que vous. Donc ça a été filmé entre la saison 2017 et 2018. Troisième saison du coup de la discipline apparemment.
The streets of exotic Hong Kong normally hum to the tune of fossil-fueled traffic, but this weekend those streets form a racing circuit for the all-electric racing series, Formula E.
How you doing? Pleasure. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Great to meet you.
How you doing?
He can pull out to the grid. Goes next. Now by graphics are through to Nick.
It's Jean-Eric Verne on pole position for the Techeetah team, his fifth pole position.
Yeah? Here is better. Because like this we don't get the fence. We get the trees, but we don't get the fence.
Activation of the start procedure.
C'est un peu le Drive to Survive de la Formule E, visiblement, dans un film quoi. Genre ça marche pas.
We do have a very long pause here, so I wonder if there is some kind of issue.
Come on.
Is it a light problem?
The FIA currently relatively worried, but we don't actually have any information.
Manolo, ¿qué pasa?
Alejandro Agag qui est très énervé.
What happened? Lights. Who the fuck is responsible for the lights? I'm gonna fucking kill them. Where are they?
Albon. C'est pas le pilote, hein, évidemment. Vous aurez compris. Il fume son cigare et tout en tant
Formula E could have
que
been created by two
millionnaire.
kind of people, either environmentalists or racing people. It was created by me, racing guy. But it gets the best of both. The first time I thought about Formula E, I was working in Formula 1. I loved it. I loved the world of motor racing. I was trying to convince this company to become a sponsor of Formula 1. And in every emails, they were saying, we cannot be involved with Formula 1 because it's polluting. We cannot be involved with Formula 1 because of the CO2. We cannot be involved with Formula 1 because it's not environmentally friendly. We cannot... And then I thought, we have a problem. I said, we need to find a green Formula 1, because if we can find a green Formula 1, that's where the big business for the future is going to be. I started Formula E with Jean Todt, the president of the FIA. And when we announced it, everyone thought we were going to go bust.
Everybody thought he was mad. I did. I thought it was an impossible task.
The thing is, the people, the first impression they have from motor racing, it's the noise. There's no noise on electric Formula.
I was just like, oh, I don't know. I mean, it would be cool if this happened, but I didn't think that they would have the neck to come out and say the planet is dying and we have to do something. But there's no question that that was the whole premise of the series.
Like I say, I'm not an environmentalist, I'm a racing man, but I do worry about the environment. So if I can put both together, fantastic.
Whatever the problems were appeared to be resolved. It looks as though we are getting ready to go racing.
50 seconds.
And we go green in Hong Kong. It's a good start from Verne. He's going to hold the lead on the run down to Tamar Park.
A Formula E season is 12 races in the heart of 10 of the biggest cities in the world. 20 drivers from 10 teams fighting to be the champion of the season. And this year, season 4 starts with 2 races in Hong Kong.
I've driven Formula 1, now with Formula E, and it's the hardest car I've ever had to drive in my life. You go into every braking zone, not fully knowing what the car is going to do underneath you.
pure technique of driving an electric car to the limit is much more precise. The throttle response is instantaneous.
Every race is a street track, and street racing is rare. And not only that, it's in the city center. So the margin for a mistake is very, very small or none.
You are driving flat out, but you are trying to consume as little energy as humanly possible.
Jeff has less energy, start to use more energy. It's like playing chess at 200 kilometers per hour.
Almost every guy in here is a previous F1 driver, which obviously is the top echelon of motorsport.
And here comes Andre Lotterer. This is his first race in Formula E.
This is a total new thing, completely different. The cars are really difficult to drive. So yeah, it's going to be a steep learning curve. The sound of the engine is usually a speed reference for you when you go through a corner. But that one is gone. But yeah, I'm pretty excited.
Andre, are you okay?
Yeah, fuck. That's fucking dangerous, man.
The Frenchman, Jean-Eric Verne, known as Jev, moves into the lead.
You need to be aggressive. The moment you decide to relax, instead of going very close, well, I'm gonna take like 10 centimeters margin. This is the moment where you get fucked.
Jean-Eric Verne still leading the way. Sam Bird alongside him. These two were teammates once. A lot of history between those two drivers.
Jev is the most difficult guy to overtake. He won't give an inch.
Oh, a late defense there.
I don't care what Sam does. I know everyone's weakness.
And with Jev, it's better to maneuver him into an area where he then feels like he's secure, and then strike.
Did a little look to the inside, there he goes up the inside, great move from Sam Bird.
Damn, c'est quoi cette radio de merde là, je vois pas.
Get it, boys, well done.
Sam Bird wins in Hong Kong.
There's your winner.
Sam Bird for the DS Virgin Racing team takes victory and the 25 points that come with it. It's second for Jean-Eric Verne, 21 points. The driver who wins the most points at the end of 12 races will win the championship.
The level there is in this championship 3 years after the beginning is so much higher. Now everybody understands the car, everybody knows what to do, everybody knows what mistakes to avoid. Like right now I have regrets after this race because we haven't done a proper job. And I'm pissed off. At this level of competition, everything has to be perfect.
Jean-Eric Verne is a very special guy. He's just sometimes a little bit crazy.
My sort of nickname for Jev, I call him a fucking nightmare.
A lot of journalists will tell you that Jev is really moody, and Jev definitely is an emotional driver.
He's the Frenchest French I know. That says a lot of things about him.
Jev was really angry when he first appeared in Formula E. He was furious that he'd been dropped from Formula 1, and certainly it's very good for Jean-Eric to have a teammate who he can be really close to.
So this year you have a new teammate.
Yeah, Andre Lotterer. Obviously, I've heard of him when I was a kid. He's older than me, and he's some sort of legend, you know, sports car legend.
He's won in everything he's done, and he's driven everything. Look at his CV, he's driven everything.
Andre was 3-time Le Mans winner, so he was considered the best endurance driver of the planet.
Very successful in sports cars, very successful in Japan.
Andre Lotterer is a super good-looking guy, and he looks really, really easy, no tension, always smiling.
It's his first year in Formula E,
C'est le
so
Ricciardo
I have
de la
no
Formule
doubt he will be having a tough time.
Toujours souriant.
Ah là là. Bon, premier week-end fini, mec. Je suis baptisé, hein. Ah ouais. J'ai chopé le mur, mec. Mais à une force. J'ai même pas eu le temps de faire au fac. Moi, à Paris, j'ai tapé, ça de la tête, elle est... Ah, moi, je suis arrivé, j'ai vu les étoiles. Ah, j'ai encore mal.
Tu sais, il avait presque pas d'accent de l'auteur en fait, quand il parle français.
Fatigué quand même, hein. Ça va être dur la soirée, ça. Ah. Hey, are you ignoring me now? Réponds pas. Réponds pas. Non, à la limite, tu lui réponds un truc, je dis « Why, do you care ?» Tu lui réponds ça. Non mais ça, c'est parfait, ça. T'attends un peu, tu lis, histoire que ça monte encore dans les toits, et lis maintenant le truc. Et après, quand t'arrives à la tête, tu réponds « Why, I don't understand, do you care ?» Je pense que je vais prendre des films management quand même. Des quoi? Des films management. Which way are you going?
André, photo. Photo, superstar.
Oh,
Superstar.
les salauds, ils se foutent de leur
Là, on les
gueule.
fait chier, on fait ça là.
Les gamins.
This is where I grew up. This is where I was born. Literally, I was born on the karting track. That's my dad. My dad was originally a scientist in medicine, and he was always passionate about motorsport. If he continues this way. So he
Jean-Marie.
created a karting track, and his dream was to find a young driver and bring him to Formula 1.
Combien de chaises pour une Formule 1 et Formule E?
Dans le monde, 40. 40. Pour 7 milliards de personnes, 40 sièges. C'est beaucoup plus dur que le football. C'était ma vision, ma vie, d'apprendre à quelqu'un à conduire. Je ne savais pas à cette époque-là que j'aurais un fils et que j'ai trouvé un pilote qui allait très vite.
We didn't grow up the same way as all the other kids. I was here, I was doing karting, I was preparing the races, I was mounting my chassis, my go-karts, and then in the weekend I was gone for racing.
Quand je serai sur le podium de minime et que je serai premier, là, ça me ferait vraiment plaisir.
It was very clear to me that
Ça va, il
I need
avait
to give up everything I do
un circuit
and
de
focus
karting pour
100%
s'entraîner
on
déjà,
racing.
c'est cool.
Formula 1, that was my dream, that's what I wanted to do.
Why do they all feel like Formula 1 is it?
Because it has been it. Formula One is the pinnacle of the sport. It's the most technologically advanced. It's the fastest cars, the most dynamic cars. It's the biggest version of our sport that there is. And drivers, when they're young, it's what they all aspire to.
When you were a kid, what was your dream?
Formula 1 driver, obviously, like every kid at the beginning.
Any sport is like a triangle. You've got all these kids down here. They want to make it there. That's the thing. When I was growing up, it was Formula 1, and there's 20 guys. So the chance of getting there to the most exclusive club in the world is very, very difficult.
Sam is the underdog, isn't he? He loves to think of himself as that guy that's, I probably shouldn't be here, which he should. He's a really good driver.
He was fantastic in the category below Formula One. He never kind of quite got that little bit of luck.
Most racing drivers are posh. Sam is not. He came up the karting scene and was picked up by talent scouts.
The boyhood dream was to win races in Formula 1. Now that's not going to happen. There's more chance of me going to the moon on a banana. Like, seriously, that's about as much chance as I've got of being in that world again. And I love what I do. Why would I change my life to be back in that shark-infested, nasty pool?
Gracias. My favorite, vegan life.
Vegan life is so good.
Some drivers, they like the fame of being a racing driver, and their dream is to be in Formula One. My dream is to race. If I'm going to race go-karts the rest of my life and earn my money, I'm happy doing that.
Tell me about Nelson Piquet.
Nelson Piquet Jr.?
Junior.
Yeah, Junior, absolutely. Yeah. Nelson Piquet Jr. I thought we were talking about a senior. Good-looking boy, fast.
Il se crache délibérément pour faire gagner Alonso à
There's
Singapour.
another guy called Nelson Piquet. His dad. Nelson's kind of always been
Il
in
a
the
jamais eu le
shadow.
temps de son père.
That's my
quand même.
dad's helmet from early 80s. He won 3 world championships. Jeez, it's decomposing.
Racing is his life. Nelson will race anything. I'm a pure racer, you know. It doesn't matter if I'm racing Formula E or Formula One, a truck. I love racing.
It's Nelson Piquet Jr. winning and his second Truck Series win.
The design of the teardrop runs in our family. It started with my dad's helmet design. You know, it has one over here was the stripe that goes around the helmet, and then there's another teardrop on the top. So when I won the championship, I did the tattoo of the teardrop, which is on our helmets, but was a circuit board inside because of the first electric world champion.
There's so many drivers who are in Formula E for a redemption story. Nelson almost more than anyone.
Renault's actions at last year's Singapore Grand Prix
Voilà.
have taken sport to a new low.
That's Nelson Piquet. Oh, big crash.
Nelson
Ceux qui
crashed in
sont
Formula
trop
1
jeunes qui
saying
ont
that
raté
his
ça.
teammate had a better chance
On
of
reverra
taking
hein,
the
sur le
title.
Twitch dans
It was a
2
massive
ans peut-être.
scandal,
On
and
sera
by
à
the
saison
point that
2008.
Nelson cleared his name in court, I mean, it's too late. He never got another drive in Formula 1.
When that happened to you, did you think like your racing career was over?
No, not at all. It was nearly a bad dream or something, and I didn't really know what to do. I was just kind of going with the flow, you know. Everybody's telling you to do something. So, I mean, you're 21, you're 22. You know, what the hell are you going to do? When I joined Formula E, it was tough in the beginning because, you know, I had a lot of drivers a little bit against me. They thought that because of problems I had in F1, it would have been bad for Formula E to have me over there. I had guys like Lucas trying to push everything he could to get me out.
Ça m'étonne pas.
I've never seen anything like that in a sport. Such a big conspiracy. He was underperforming, he was not performing well, and he was going to get fired. So they said, crash on purpose, and you can stay 1 more year. He was putting his life in danger, maybe the life of other people in danger. Crashing for somebody else to win a race or for you to renew a contract, I would not do it.
Quel homme. Merci.
Lucas Di Grassi, what can I say about him? The guy feels a bit entitled.
He's so arrogant, and he's a little bit condescending to the other drivers.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This is only half of the Formula E trophies. The other half is in Brazil.
And this is why the others don't like him.
I'm different from the other drivers. Racing is part of my life, it's not my whole life. For me, it was a lifestyle that I wanted to achieve.
Lucas likes the image of the professor, he likes the image of somebody who's very technically aware. He's a really, really smart dude.
Di Grassi, c'est vraiment l'un des pilotes les plus détestables du sport auto. Franchement,
The battery stays inside the frame.
Ce mec...
Has regenerative braking like the Formula E car.
I was the first driver to join Formula E with Alejandro. In the first year of Formula E, pretty much all the drivers talk bullshit about Formula E. In the very beginning, it's electric, I'm never going to drive that. They realized later that this is the future, and there's no way of getting around it. If you want to be a professional driver, you need to be where the manufacturers are, and the manufacturers, they want to develop electric cars, so that's why they're in Formula E. This is a 91. It's a Testarossa 512. It's a super classic, yeah. It was my dream car when I was a kid.
Oh, what about fuel consumption?
These cars were like 3 kilometers per liter. Something ridiculous, yeah.
Electric cars are more efficient, they are better for the environment, and they are better overall. So there is no way back.
Il a raison.
Right now, the Formula E car goes up to maybe 220 kph, but in 5 years, it has the potential to be the fastest cars on the planet. And the combustion engine will not be able to catch up.
The revolution is coming. It's just a question of time.
Ouais, ça mettra un peu plus que 5 ans, je pense, quand même. Hein.
And people are starting to wake up.
Plutôt 10, du coup.
But one of the biggest things still keeping people from buying electric cars is range anxiety. Basically, people getting nervous that the battery is going to die. So what we're focusing on in Formula E is to make more efficient and longer-lasting batteries. When we started Formula E, the problem was that in the world, there were no batteries that could feed the energy to a race car for longer than 25 minutes. So we needed the races to last about an hour. We came up with kind of a very simplistic approach. We said, let's give 2 cars to every driver. When they finish the battery of the first car, they jump out and they go to the second car.
C'était un bon concept
always
aussi,
our
un peu
objective
bizarre
was
quand
to
même.
eliminate that change. Now we are saying, next season, season 5, we're going to do the entire race with just 1 car. With McLaren, we are working on a new revolutionary battery that can last the whole race. This is the biggest bet we've done. And we will test it in a few months. And this battery really needs to work because Mercedes and Porsche have agreed to enter next year's championship because we're going from 2 cars to 1 car.
The thing that people need to understand about motorsport is that it has always been an incubator for things that end up in road cars. And there's so many track-to-road stories. I mean, disc brakes, seat belts, deformable crash structures, all kinds of technology was pioneered at the racetrack and has ended up on everybody's road cars. That's why the manufacturers are getting involved, because this is a series which is going in the same direction as the automotive industry, which is pivoting towards electric. Imagine you take a series where the drivers actually have to physically change cars because of range anxiety at the start of the series, but by season 5, you've got a battery that will go the whole way through. What an amazing story that would be to tell the world about how this racing series could really accelerate technology.
Putain, mais il fait froid le matin au Maroc. Sans blague. comprends pas pourquoi on roule si tôt ce matin.
Et la course, c'est à 5h.
Putain, c'est Carlito, ça. La journée commence mal si on se fait doubler, déjà.
Pas pour dire, mais...
Ah, mais ça m'énerve, ça. Pas dès le matin, comme ça.
Oh là là, ils font les glands sur la route, tout va bien. Quoi.
Il était pas content, le scooter, je crois.
Je sais pas,
C'est pas un circuit, les gars, la route, hein.
Il est passé où, Karin? Ah, il avait pas le permis, en fait. On l'a pas pris sur toutes les...
Look at the crowds coming in to the circuit in Marrakesh. A lot of celebrities on hand. How about Legolas himself, Orlando Bloom? One of a number of high-profile personalities on hand this weekend.
No pictures, no pictures. It's very important to have personalities and celebrities at the races.
Having those persons makes it easier to get to the big public.
How you doing? Pleasure to meet you.
Leo has come every season to a race. I don't know, he could be involved with any other kind of motor racing.
I remember when I had the first Tesla, it was basically stacks of cell phone batteries, and it would heat up immediately as I went up the hill to my house.
For race cars, we have to design a whole cooling system that is super advanced to cool the battery. And that can be then used for the road cars to make them much better.
Wow. Yeah, there you go. And so what are concrete actual advancements since starting?
The car has like a brain that is the one that coordinates the battery and the electric motor. Every car has the same battery and the same chassis, the same body. But every team develops its own powertrain and its own software. And it basically tells the battery how much energy to send to the electric motor and manages also the temperature. It's a whole kind of management system of the electric powertrain. Those, they take the software from here, they put it on the road car.
So it's no longer mechanics and guys that can essentially make the fastest car. It's almost like a tech race now.
It's a tech race. And actually, that's one of the key elements of competition, how well they manage the energy, because we want save energy to be one of the key elements of winning a race. Because the only way to motivate these big companies to develop more and more technologies to make them fight against each other to win.
Mahindra, I've heard a lot
Very
about
strong,
them.
very
Yeah?
strong, really strong. Yeah. They're Indians, a great company from India. They make cars, they make trucks, they make tuk-tuks. They're one of the biggest car manufacturers in the world. In Asia, population is exploding. Pollution in the cities is terrible. So electric cars are a huge deal in Asia. For example, NIO is a young Chinese company that is setting itself up to be a massive producer of electric cars for the Chinese market.
Jaguar had never made an electric car before they entered Formula E. It was certainly a good way of announcing that they were going to make electric cars. Renault were the only manufacturers that came in right at the start. Everyone was a bit like, oh, tootling around in Formula E cars, Renault, that's very French of you.
Everybody was telling us it will never work. And we said, look, if it works, then you will look like stupid and you will bite your fingers because you didn't follow us right at the beginning.
Now Formula E has manufacturers queuing up to make that fastest race car. So there is no question that the technology will be in showrooms in a couple of years.
Many people say, yeah, Formula E, electric cars, cool, whatever. But where is the energy coming from? To really have the full circle, you need to use an electric car, but you need to use it with renewable energy. You see those chimneys there?
Yeah.
Those are the generators, no smoke. We looked into using solar energy, but you cannot produce the energy with solar fast enough to charge the cars. We looked also at hydrogen, but the fuel cells, they cannot fly. If you put them on a plane with a change of pressure, the membrane breaks. We found this glycerin from sea algae and cooking oil called aquafuel. We could now run a city of about 2,000 homes only with this.
How does it generate energy? I don't quite understand.
There's an engine next door in the container, so there's a generator which is adapted to run on.
And it uses this. This is the fuel we use.
Ce carburant là.
And the funny thing is, you can taste it. And the generator, almost like a normal generator, but it produces no emissions.
Then you don't need to tap into the grid, which goes back to the main problem, which is where do you source your energy from? Are you burning coal? Or you
Exactly. Yes. Fish, you want to try it?
Sweet. Sweet.
Yeah, sweet.
Pole position for Sebastian Buemi. Alongside him on the front row is Britain's Sam Bird for the DS Virgin team. And we go green in Marrakesh. gosh, it's a good start from Rosenqvist. He cuts towards the inside. Good start from de Grassi as well.
Because of the way the systems work in Formula E with the regenerative braking, which means that whenever they brake, the batteries charge. The driver has to learn how to drive that car in a very, very different way than what he would an internal combustion engine car.
Every time you use power, you're taking a little bit out of the battery. But when you regen, you've taken it out and then you put a little bit back in. And if you're good at saving the energy, you'll have a little bit more compared to the opposition.
It's something that makes it very different. So even though they're the best in the world, they still come in here and they still have to learn how to redrive this car.
It's been a steep learning curve. You have to focus so much on your energy. And learning new tracks between these walls, it's like, are you ever gonna feel good about this? Pressure's on, but it doesn't mean I'm gonna change my approach.
Andrea, are you okay?
I'm out of power here.
Rosenqvist, the Mahindra driver, wins in Marrakesh.
Terrible
I
l'abandon.
think maybe Andre did kind of think that Formula E might be easier than it is. I mean, after Marrakesh, did I think Andre was going to last the season? Maybe not. Even if you finish badly, you want to finish the race. To have to walk back along the track, I mean, it's just embarrassing.
Non, je pense que c'est la grille de départ. Non, non, c'est la chicane, on va parler.
C'est bien qu'il les ait suivis tous les deux, du coup.
Can you do that? No, you can't. You need to come here with your first car. Okay. Read the rules.
But you know, I found this job where I didn't need to study anything, so... What?
How did you do it today?
What I did today was just a perfect day. And when you do a perfect day that you finish 5th, means you cannot win a championship like this. So I'm going to push the team very hard to try and improve it. Try and win races, because we have to win races if you want to win a championship. And right now we're not in position to do so.
But keep the positive attitude.
Actually, no. Sometimes you need to push the team, show the angry face. Because if you look happy all the time, then people think, you know, there is nothing to work on.
The sound of victory, right?
Yeah.
Great sound.
When you win.
It's good for them, it's a good team.
Is it very important for Jeb to win in Formula E?
Oui, pour lui, c'est important. Il fait tout pour gagner. Vous vous rendez compte qu'il a... C'est le pilote qui a gagné le plus de courses avant d'aller en F1 dans un laps de temps très court. Il a 5 titres et 40 victoires. Aucun pilote de F1 n'a eu ça avant d'arriver en Formule 1. When Jeff first became in Formula 1, of course I was very happy. But immediately I think it would be very difficult because he was not in a good team. We didn't talk together too much because I think he didn't see the reality. At 20 years old, he had camera in front of him from everybody, and he was losing his head a little bit.
Fundamentally, the Red Bull program found him lacking for whatever their reasons are. So they dropped him in the usual way that they do. Once you start being questioned on your skill, once you start being questioned on your commitment, once you get like the head of the junior program trash talking you in the press, which like Jeb absolutely did, he got called lazy, ending up hospitalized because you're trying to starve yourself down to your teenage teammates' weight, like that's fucked up.
Ça a déstabilisé, ça fait beaucoup de mal à toute la famille. C'était très dur. Moi, j'ai été très, très touché. J'ai été durement touché parce que c'est toute une vie de travail. Ah, mais je pense qu'il vaut mieux qu'il soit en Formule électrique aujourd'hui que dans une voiture de merde en Formule 1. Voilà, excusez-moi du terme. Hein. Voilà.
Pas fou quand même ce qu'il dit. Hein. C'est vrai que le Toro Rosso à l'époque c'était pas l'AlphaTauri de cette saison. Hein.
I think they're too small. I think they're a good team and they have good drivers, but I don't think they have the resources to win the championship.
We are a private team, the only private team in Formula E. All the other guys have 15 days testing before the season starts. We have none. So we have to work twice harder in the simulator with the engineers.
Can you see the track?
Il y a beaucoup de... Le problème, c'est que c'est beaucoup de virages où tu peux te faire piéger facilement.
Putain.
Okay, Andre, you're probably still too forward at the moment. Ouais, t'as peut-être perdu quand même un petit dixième au tennis. On va prendre un peu trop le libre.
Non, il est passé, mais comme une balle, le tennis. J'ai perdu un peu au T1, T2.
T'as perdu au T9 aussi? Je coupe un peu la corde, t'as perdu un dixième.
Ouais, c'est faisable, ok.
C'est faisable, je vais le faire. Tu dis je vais faire un 2.04, le 0.4 c'est facile.
Je niquerai sur les 200.
Et il va faire un 2.4, il a dit que c'était facile.
Tu dis que tu vas le faire, mais tu le fais pas.
Oh, we just moved flats because the baby's coming.
It's already, this is the baby room.
We already got it.
Yeah, so we're just building up, so we have some stuff. It's super exciting, actually. I don't have a lot of worries for
La
the
vie est
future.
belle, Lucas.
Technology will solve a lot of issues. But there are a lot of questions, a lot of problems. Climate change is one. So there will be a lot of question marks for my son. When he's 40 or 30, the world will be completely different.
C'est vrai.
How did you get into racing? Was your father a race car driver?
No. Growing up in Brazil, there was two things we did during the weekend. We watched football and we watched Formula 1 because of Senna.
Ayrton Senna é o campeão de 1990.
Ayrton Senna was a Brazilian icon. He was a three-time world champion, and the impact that this guy has on Brazilian people was so huge. When Senna died, Brazil stopped.
Des images qu'on n'aime pas revoir. Hein.
After that, I started taking racing more seriously. But on top of it, I wanted to impact people in a positive way, the same way Senna did. And I can do that by racing.
I think my dad had a lot against Senna. They had their rivalry back in the day. In those days, those guys were, in a way, superheroes. I think racing was so cool those days because they sat in cars that were as fast as Formula 1 cars are nowadays, but they were a quarter of safety.
Non, c'était pas aussi rapide que les fins actuels. Même faut pas exagérer à ce niveau-là. Ils étaient plus dangereux, c'est sûr.
My dad didn't race for Brazil. My dad raced for himself. He raced because he loved racing, because the money was good, because he had fun.
My goodness!
My dad, when he didn't like something, didn't like somebody, for whatever reason, that was it.
Allez, fight! Bim!
That gave him a lot of bad press at the same time, but my dad didn't care.
Imaginez Verstappen Hamilton qui fait ça
Those are
cette
the kind
saison.
of things that I did learn from my dad. You got guys like Lucas. I'm not going to pretend when he comes to a racetrack and take a picture and post something. Oh, so great to have you here, my Brazilian friend.
You definitely take a nerve with him, PK.
Yeah, we have a long history of fighting each other. He likes to speak badly about other drivers in the press. So every time he says something bad about myself, I reply. And that creates clash, of course.
I beat him in F3, I beat him in GP2, I took his place in F1. So he got a bit, how you call it, what's the right word? Bitter about it.
My generation in Brazil, when I was a kid, was myself, Nelson Piquet, and Bruno Senna. So I had a Senna and a Piquet racing against me. So I never had any sponsorship. All the sponsorship from Brazilian companies, they would go either to Senna or to Piquet,
Ouais,
of course,
évident.
because of the names. My family does not come from motorsport, so I went the hard way. And Nelson, on the contrary, he had everything very easy in his life. The father set up his own team. He never had the pressure that I had. He had a very easy life on this topic because the father knew exactly how to do it.
Obviously, I had my dad's influence. He gave all of us the same opportunity. You can race if you want to. Here's a go-kart. Let's see how it goes for a couple of years. And if you notice that you don't love it to your bone, then he said, look, this is not your thing. Let's go find something else for you. But I loved racing.
So I ended up doing go-karts with my mechanics. My dad was always working, my mom just taking care of her own life. I probably spent more days with my mechanic than my dad, for sure.
Qué lindas son las sonrisas que traes tan frescas por la mañana. Tus ojos despiden rayos que me iluminan el cielo entero.
Mañana, 9:30 en nuestro país.
this city you see, you can barely see the mountain. I'm sure it would look beautiful and all you see is pollution. If you come back here in 15 years, this city is only electric car, I can be 100% sure you're going to be able to see the mountain.
How do you feel about how Andre's been doing?
Ouais, mais alors ça, c'est pas près
He's
d'arriver.
been
Hein.
unlucky so far, not scoring points, but I know that, for example, in the race in Marrakesh, he was really quick before the car broke down, and he will be there. He will be as fast as me. I'm very, I'm sure of that. Yeah, but that's motorsport. That's sport as in general. You do a good race, you're the king. You win a race, you're the king. The next race, you do a mistake. The second race after, you also do a mistake. People start thinking you're not good anymore. Some teams, they will be thinking of actually replacing you, which is completely nonsense.
Petit tacle à Toro Rosso.
They had really high expectations for me, obviously, with the results I had in the past. And the people have no patience in this sport, Doesn't matter, even if you're a rookie, you always want to be on the top. And just need to put everything together, and it's gonna come.
Welcome to the inaugural Santiago E-Prix.
Leader, John-Eric Verne. Second, Nelson Piquet. In third, the rookie, Andre Lotterer. The Tachita of Andre Lotterer.
Here he comes, Jack.
Corner and up the inside. And Lotterer passes Piquet.
And look how Lotterer is caught up to Jeb.
Andre Lotterer trying to go around the outside of turn 3. And the two Tachita cars almost collide.
Guys, what the fuck was that?
Watching Andre and Jeff fight, that was extraordinary. In most sports, don't take out your teammate is the absolute rule.
And his teammate, Andre Lotterer, is right behind.
Oh là là. Là, c'est moche quand même.
You don't do that to your teammate.
Usually the two drivers from the same team, they don't touch each other. He's not touching him. He was on the top of him. On the top of him.
Jean-Eric Verne takes the checkered flag, and for the first time in Formula E history, a team takes
Ouais, ils ont eu
both
de la
first
chance
and
les deux
second
là.
place.
Ah baby, that's historical. First 1-2 in Formula E history.
Viva Santiago!
Le seum de Di Grassi.
I was running fifth on the way to a podium, and then we had another reliability problem, and the car stopped.
Oh, the problem!
You've got to be kidding me.
Oh my goodness.
And that's what happened in Hong Kong.
Lucas de Grassi pulls over at the side of the circuit.
And what happened in Marrakesh.
I have no power again, no power again.
So all the preparation, everything that we done, all the simulation, all the training, everything gone in 1 second.
Nelson, it's been another successful one for you. Well done.
Yeah, I must say I'm really happy with everybody in the team. Every weekend we're going to be stronger and stronger. We need to build up, and we're going to be there. Soon we're going to be there, back on top of the podium.
Putain, mec, quand j'ai décidé d'y aller et que t'as freiné devant moi là, j'ai cru que tu allais en s'arrêter. Je pouvais rien faire, mais tu m'as fait, tu m'as rien faire. J'avais les 4 roues bloquées, t'avais les 4 roues bloquées.
I reckon they won't stay friends like that for a long time. There's a lot of love going on there at the moment. At the moment, yeah, but a lot of love. We'll leave it to them.
Because soon it's going to be...
They're both very good drivers, and they both have a very good car, and they will both be fighting for the same thing, and it doesn't work.
You've always got to try and keep your teammate beneath you. It's a funny kind of sport in that respect. Your teammate, you're in a team with them. If it's like most other team sports, you're all working together for a common goal. In this sport, you do everything together for a common goal until the moment in which you go out on the track, and then you're trying to beat the other guy. There's not many other sports like that.
Him and Andre, best pals, and it's great.
Ça rappelle un peu Rosberg Hamilton quoi.
Jeff was my teammate. He was a different person.
Par contre, bon, je pense quand même qu'ils sont restés à peu près amis globalement les deux.
There were genuinely times where, at the beginning of the weekend, we wouldn't say hello to each other. We'd just walk in. It was really strained. He was in a very dark place.
Looking where I come from, I went from you know, the little kid that was, his dream was to go in Formula One, and I succeeded. I was on top of the world, and I went down to zero. You know, no more contract, no more salary, no more anything. And all the friends I had around myself, nearly all of them disappeared in less than 1 month. When I was out of Formula One, everybody disappeared.
C'est que c'était pas des vrais amis alors, hein.
It was disappointing and.
Qui étaient là juste parce que t'étais pilote de F1, mon gars.
Yeah, 2014 was a really shitty year for us. I mean, he lost his dad, I lost Formula One. I lost a friend in Formula One.
Ouais.
Yeah, it was hard.
Who is your friend?
Bah, Jules Bianchi, quoi.
Jules Bianchi, French driver.
Bah oui.
We started racing to. Sorry.
Ah, il est ému, terrible.
One moment.
Was he on your team?
No. No. It was a hard year. No, it's it wasn't. So I come back.
Chez Marluxia.
Tough accident. Tough accident. During the Japanese Grand Prix. And it was the first death since Ayrton Senna. So 94, 2014, 20 years, nothing happened. And we were really, really, really close.
Ouais.
I was filming at the time. It was an horrible day for everybody. Horrible day. The weather was very, very, very bad. It was raining a lot. Jeff was driving on the track, and there was a crash. Sadly, you know, Jules lost the control of his car because I don't know why he lost the control of his car, and his car went under the crane.
J'ai cru que c'est Jean-Éric qui était sous la grue. Hein. J'ai eu la peur de ma vie à la télévision. Ah, on le connaît très bien. Je les connais tous les deux. Ils roulaient à 7 ans. Ils roulaient en kart ensemble.
Jules was like the little brother of Jeff. They were very, very close.
We grew up together in karting. We were always fighting each other. We were the two French guys that, you know, that were going to make it to Formula One. You know, we felt invincible, like nothing can happen to us. And I was the car in front of him, and I nearly had exactly the same thing that he had. That's why people have seen, you know, a huge change in me, just because, no, I take nothing for granted.
Ah, c'est vraiment triste cet accident là. C'est la foot, pas de chance, on va dire. C'est vrai qu'il y avait Hitfeld aussi en Formule E, je sais pas ce qu'il est devenu ce pilote. Comme Piquet Junior, ils sont plus là. Hein. Je sais pas ce qu'ils sont devenus les deux là. Di Grassi est toujours là. Même si Audi se barre, je sais pas du coup s'il va être là encore la saison prochaine, on verra. Jeff il est encore là. Sunbird aussi. Autorer aussi chez Porsche.
And we go green in Mexico City. And we go green in Uruguay. Piquet's in the wall. The Jaguar is in the wall as they come through the final corner. Jean-Eric Verne wins and takes the lead of the championship.
Bravo, bravo.
And we go green in Berlin. It's a decent start from Daniel Abt. Lucas de Grassi's looking to the inside of D'Ambrosio. Turning comes across. Goal! Piquet has thrown it away again. That's going to cost him in the standings. But
Piquet
Lucas
qui
de
fait de
Grassi
la merde
finishes the
sur
race in
cette
second
saison.
place. Do I sense a comeback? And Sam Bird hangs on to third place in the championship. Nelson Piquet very frustrated with his performance. The season is really starting to slip away from him. But Jean-Eric Verne now leads the championship with 5 races to go.
Walking.
Today we're finally getting our first real look at the new battery.
Can we see it or not? Well, let's see. I don't know if they are operating there. If the lid's on.
But we still have to install it in next season's car to see if it works.
So this is the battery we
Look
are
at this.
chassis. And so this is part of the chassis actually.
That's part of the structure of the car. So
this
the
is
battery
all
is part of
battery.
the body of the car is the battery.
And the technology is allowed to double the range with the same volume.
So with this battery, we're going to be able to go twice as far and much faster, from 220 to 280 kph. The dream would be if this can weigh 2 kilos instead of 300. And then you take it from
Mais
your
ça,
car, you
bon,
put it in your
ne
house, you
n'abuse pas
charge
non
it on
plus,
the,
hein.
like your mobile phone, you put it back in your car and you drive. That would be a huge breakthrough.
It's interesting. I didn't know that. So he adds more.
He's going to do
pressure.
it. He's gonna
He
do
adds
it.
more pressure.
These guys are going to do it. In 3 years, we need this one and half the size.
Oh yeah. Okay.
This championship, when we started it, we had to compromise. Electric racing cars didn't exist. We had to do one very fast. So we did the best we could with very little time and also not so much money. But now the moment of truth is coming to test that battery and see if it works. And that's a very visible demonstration of how fast this technology is going, and it's happening inside Formula E. To get back. So here we have like all the accounting, lawyers.
2 things that Alejandro had that made it possible for him to have built the series. The first is that he is an entrepreneur. But the other thing is that he's an ex-politician.
Motor racing is my second career. So my first career, I always loved politics. When I was 25, I was one of the 3 aides of the Prime Minister of Spain. 28, I got elected. I was the youngest member of European Parliament ever. That's when I met my wife. Her father at the time was Prime Minister. So she was the daughter of my boss.
Sérieux, quoi.
Very quickly, I realized that I had to choose between my political career or my future wife. When I stopped politics, I resigned from all my positions. But having had a past in politics can help you for any profession you do.
Eh ben, il
If
est
you
connu en
negotiate
Espagne,
a
lui, en
city
fait.
centre
Hein.
circuit, you talk to politicians, and that's something that Alejandro can absolutely do. There had been no racing in Rome for a really long time. Certainly no racing in the city centre. And Italy is the home of the Tifosi, it's the home of Ferrari fans. So electric racing seemed impossible.
Eh ben oui, il n'y a pas de Ferrari en Formule
But Alejandro is incredibly sheer
E. À
bloody
mon avis, il
minded.
n'y en aura pas avant un long moment.
If you say you can't make electric racing, I think he'll be like, I will do it, but like threefold.
Le pape. Il bénit la Formule E, évidemment.
Estamos por todo el mundo llevando estos coches eléctricos para promover la movilidad limpia, que nosotros sabemos en que usted también promueve mucho. Y este es el que va liderando el campeonato.
Por ahora.
Por ahora.
Alors, c'est pas aussi bling bling que la F1, mais il y a du pognon quand même.
Sometimes
Hein.
I try to find a reason why Formula E has had this really fast growth. So I got inspired by this thought.
Ils font les choses en grand aussi.
How
Hein.
much the people that travel back in time worry about the consequences of what they do when they are in the past that happen in the present. I haven't met anyone that went back in time, but I have seen a few movies that people go back in time. I mean, I can think of 2 right now. One is obviously Back to the Future. The other one is the hot tub time machine, which I don't think that many of you have seen, but it's pretty good actually. But nobody really thinks the huge consequences that what we do today can have in the future. And now let's go to the optimistic view. If something good happens now, then it can have huge consequences for the future.
And we go green in Rome.
Rome sold out in 5 minutes. More and more people were trying to pack around every available corner. For every person who says nobody wants to go to this, nobody wants to watch it, Rome was like a massive smack in the face.
It looks like it's going to be Sam Bird as he takes victory in the first Rome E-Prix.
Ormai la gara è finita, vince Sam Bird.
Sam Bird surprises again. He's going to launch himself up into second place in the championship.
Sam Bird is as good as the kind of the lower category of drivers in Formula One. But he was in contention for the championship in the junior categories that would have really put him on the map. And he had a bit of a meltdown.
Sam Bird's been taken out by Oliver Turvey. This is the stop. There's Sam, he's distraught. He's absolutely distraught.
Terrible.
I didn't come from a super wealthy background and then spend millions. My dad had to really sacrifice his and my mum's life. At one stage, they actually had to remortgage their house. So it was a tough time, fish. It wasn't fun. After that, I became the reserve driver for Mercedes F1, 2010. But it's not like they're going to give me Lewis Hamilton or Michael Schumacher's car. Just go on then, you race this one. So I was the reserve. I would go to every race. I'd do the simulator back in Brackley.
What did you do during the races? You wait.
I drank so much coffee every race weekend. I was the chief coffee drinker at Mercedes Formula One. I was sat there on the sidelines for 4 years with the team, waiting for somebody to say, do you know what? Go, get in our car, have a seat. You are good enough, you're quick enough. And it never happened.
So now it's basically between you and Jeff. Do you think you can beat him?
I've never not beaten Jeff. This would be the first. If he beats me this season, it would be the first time he's ever beaten me in a championship.
Oh, I got it, Tony.
Allez, un petit kawa. J'aime pas le café, moi. C'est vraiment quelque chose que j'aime pas. Petite céréale.
Rule number one is very simple. Be the fastest, start on pole, win the race, go on the podium, drink champagne, and redo it again.
Vu comme ça a l'air simple. Bah là c'est à Paris là du coup.
C'est bien ça.
Prix de Paris je pense. Ah ouais.
From the heart of the City of Lights, Paris, France. This is round number 9 of 12.
He's the man this year. I keep telling him, man, it's your year. He can do it. He was awesome with me at the beginning of the championship. So he'll have all my help.
How will you overtake Jeff?
I don't know, and I'm not going to tell the TV because then he might watch it.
Championship leader Jean-Eric Verne on pole position. Sam Bird right behind in the number 2 spot. And we go green in Paris. And Andre Lotterer is causing trouble for Sam Bird from the start.
7 laps complete here in Paris. Jean-Eric Verne and Sam Bird have pulled away by over a second over Andre Lotterer. Lotterer may not be close enough to make a pass, but he's certainly close enough to fill up Sam Bird's mirrors.
Look how close Lotterer is. He's right there. That's a bold move from Andre Lotterer. Sends it, isn't getting it stopped. Oh, the 2.
Oh la 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 la.
Ridiculous move, ridiculous.
And it is Jean-Eric Verne, the Parisian, leading the way. A 4-second margin over Andre Lotterer in second place. And Lucas de Grassi is in third. And now here comes de Grassi.
Lotterer does not want to let de Grassi through.
He's bumping into de Grassi.
What kind of racing is this motherfucker?
Lotterer protecting his teammate, I think, at this point.
Oui, il fait le beau taf.
Going into the final lap, De Grassi's
Bien,
got
André.
more energy. Can Lotterer even make it to the end because he's got such little energy remaining?
Fucking energy.
Oh,
Did Lotterer
terrible.
run out of energy?
Yeah, of course, because he's a fucking idiot.
Oh là là.
What an idiot!
So Jean-Eric Verne, the Parisian, wins in Paris. Verne is in third,
C'est
but he hasn't got a
chaud.
front right wheel.
Il a plus de roue, lui. Il a quand même fini la course. Le drama de
Then he ran out of
fin.
energy, like with you, I went to overtake him, he again did like this. Without energy. Why would you do that?
Lucas will trash talk anyone. But I have never seen Sam Bird angry. He was really furious with Andre.
I don't know what you guys thought of it, but you can't change direction when a car is much quicker than you like that. If you run out of energy, tough, you know, you can't just do what he did.
Ah, c'était un peu sale comme
I'm
move,
disappointed
j'avoue
by
que...
that, by his driving standard, and I'm disappointed that I've destroyed the car, but I'm happy with the podium.
Ah, bonjour mon grand. Franchement, félicitations, c'est top. Tu t'es mis dans les oreilles?
Nelson, what happened with you in Paris?
It's been a tough year for me. It just takes a tiny bit of something for things not to go right, and it can go down very quickly, you know? I was really pushing hard in first practice, and then lost control of the car in a very quick corner and hit in the wall.
Terrible.
I'm really sorry for that.
La saison de trop pour Nelson.
Not a big deal happens, but unfortunately, the wheel hit the tub, and that's the worst thing that can happen. When that happens, they tell you have to change the whole tub, and literally they have to do it in like 4 hours. And then to make it worse, went out second practice, pushed really hard again, and then...
Non mais c'est une blague ce mec.
I brushed the wall again. I can't believe this. Can I damage the tire and just come in? No, stop where you are. We need the tires.
I think it was one of the most stressful moments in my life. The problem is, I had all my guys fixing the first car. Now we had the second car that was damaged, and we had to get it ready for qualifying, and we didn't manage. You want to hide in a hole at that point, and you don't want to look at anybody and just go black. Like, I couldn't say that, you know, personal life, either racing at this moment is going very well for me. So,
Personal life, not either?
well, like I said, I mean, it's not like, you know, when these things happen, like I have the support of my dad, he's there, and this and that, you know.
Has your dad come to see you race in this series?
He's never been to a Formula E race.
Wow. And you've invited him?
Yeah, when I won the championship in London, I begged him to come to the last race because he was in Europe actually, and he said, I have to go back to Brazil, and so it was. I got pretty upset because of that, because I won the championship, and it would have been great to have him there. But it is what it is.
Étonnant. Ça va mal dans la famille Piquet visiblement.
I simply have to beat Jean-Eric Verne this weekend. If I don't, the championship's done. We probably don't have the speed and efficiency of his car, but he's had the cleanest season you can imagine. There's 3 races to go, something has got to happen.
C'est dommage d'ailleurs qu'ils aient pas fait un reportage comme ça pour toutes les saisons,
People
quoi.
tell me they're impressed to see
C'est pas
me
mal foutu comme
being
truc.
calm and everything, but the truth is, I'm fucking dead right now. I'm wasted. But you have to keep pushing.
Ils en font un pour la saison prochaine avec la nouvelle réglementation, la nouvelle voiture. La Gen 3.
You can one lap, Bob, to get that pole position.
Pole position in motorsport, at the end of the day, you start the furthest forward. You are ahead from the very start of the race.
So here comes Jean-Eric Verne, the master at sticking that car on pole.
Jev has always been good at taking poles in Formula E, but he's an emotional driver.
Jean-Eric Verne, the
Ouais,
man
alors
with
avec
8
ses
pole
analyses
positions in Formula E to
défensives
his
sous
name. This is his qualifying run, the rear wheels getting off the ground as he swings into the first corner. The next one sitting right up against the wall. He's slower than Felix Rosenquist though in sector 1. Also slower than Daniel Abt. Very uncharacteristic for Verne. Across the line comes the Frenchman, half a second behind Sam Bird. Can't see him starting in the top 10 with that.
I'm shaking his head. It's not just the pumps.
The worst ever Formula E qualifying performance for Jean-Eric Verne, the championship leader.
Trop de pression pour Jev.
There you go,
Crack.
that's a racing drive. No, we're feeling the frustration.
It's Mitch Evans on pole position, Lotter alongside him on the front row. Third place man is Sam Bird. He trails 17th place man, Jean-Eric Verne.
I'm sure it was very frustrating for Jeff.
17ème,
We go
hein,
green
bref.
in Zurich, and it's a good start from Lotter on the run down.
I'm sure he was cursing himself and the team and everything else.
The checker flag falls. De Grassi wins the first motor race in Switzerland for 64 years. Sam Bird across the line in second. It's 10th place for Jean-Eric Verne. He had a 40-point lead at the top of the championship. It has been slashed to 23.
The little guy's still in contention. Sam Bird still in contention.
Merci. Wir gehen zum Flughafen, aber zum
Jet Aviation.
General Aviation, genau, Jet Aviation.
So that was a tough race for you, huh, Jeff?
I guess as soon as I leave this country, I will feel better.
Ok, d'accord.
So you guys have a 3-week break, and now you're going to do a different race?
We're going to Le Mans. It's a full week of racing.
Are you rooting for each other?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I look what he's doing, and guess he's not rooting for me. You're gonna laugh in a bit. There's the most dedicated fan you can ever imagine. She's been my
Il est
fan
sympa, tu vois.
since, I mean, she's from Japan. She comes to all the races.
En plus, il
all the
parle
way
bien
from
français.
Japan. She's like, I'm going to Le Mans. I take the night train on the bus. I'm thinking, we have 2 seats, right, in the jet. I was like, just come with us. This is Sanae, my #1 fan. Oh yeah, coffee. He gets moody, huh? But I told him, man. When you're in a bad mood, man, it's... He's younger, you know. The difference between us is almost 10 years, and my career is made. I was probably a bit more like that before too, when stuff wouldn't go my way, and you get robbed from things, and it's just intense. It's you live it super strongly, so I understand. It's fine. It's better when you know someone. Because if you don't know someone, you think, what a dig is that person, right? But I know exactly, so it's fine.
Il dit les choses, André.
Hi guys.
Whoa, what happened to your eye?
This guy came with this t-shirt last night. He said, I love fossil fuel. He sits next to me, starts saying something about the fuck, whatever, and then breaks a champagne glass on my face.
Oh la vache.
Freak. Fossil fuel freak. This is really incredible. We got to New York
Ah ouais,
with
j'aurais
the
pu
same
perdre son
difference
œil.
of points between first and second that we did last year going to Montreal to the last race. And in the last race, we saw what happened. Lucas was second, 23 points behind, and won the championship. So Sam Bird could really now win the championship. I think what's going to be really tough for Jeff is the mental pressure.
Every single year I go into the championship at the end and I'm there and I'm fighting, but I've never won it. I'm always a fucking bridesmaid and I'm a bit sick of it. Now I know that this is gonna be tough this weekend. Like, I need him to have a shit Saturday. That's what I need. To really take it to Sunday and for it to be really interesting. And I'm pretty sure Andre's gonna be helping Jev. Those two work as a team.
Is it weird that it's you against your former teammate?
Yeah, we had a tough relationship. 2 years ago, I was still fighting for third in the championship, and Jeff got in front of me.
And Sam Bird now is trying to get past Jean-Eric Verne.
and I desperately needed to finish ahead of Jev so I could have stayed third in the championship.
Ouais, enfin bon, après c'était pas le titre non plus quoi.
And he didn't.
Oh, here's the move. Oh, on the inside goes Bird, and the two DS
Troisième place, c'est bien joli.
What the hell was he doing?
And then chaos broke out after the race. I'm calling him a fucking this and a fucking that, and he's calling me the same. And we didn't speak for the rest of the season.
You ready?
Yeah, ready.
Here we go.
What was it like to be a teammate of Sam Bird's?
I always had respect with him, but the problem is there was really two parts in the team. There was this side with English people that were against me. So I went into a protective mode and attack mode that made us very bad enemies. The truth is, I've been in a dark place for a while, you know, in the last few years. But I realized the difference between wanting it badly or really wanting it at any cost. As bad as you fucking want to breathe.
Probably safe to say there has never been a more important qualifying session than what we're about to see. Jean-Eric Vergne can clinch the driver's title today. Sam Bird cannot. He hopes only to move it to the final race of the season tomorrow.
Now, here comes Jean-Eric Vergne on his qualifying lap.
First sector, time's coming through.
28.6.
It's a good first sector though for Vergne. Fastest first and second sectors for Jean-Eric Vergne. And Vergne is quickest. Jean-Eric Vergne has taken a huge step in sealing the Formula E title. Astonishing news from the stewards. Bob, I can't even bring myself to say it.
Jean-Eric Vergne has had all of his qualifying times cancelled by the stewards for exceeding the allowable 200 kilowatts of energy.
So he used more than he is allowed to use.
And
that was kind of a software upgrade. They just sort of assumed it would be fine.
Yeah, and it wasn't.
You must do something wrong, no? Eh? I mean, no, don't come to me like this because...
Oh, I know, but it's a question. It's just a question. You tell me yes or no.
So if you have done something wrong, then it's wrong. I'm sorry. I don't know, but...
Jev is pissed, man.
Oh, yeah, I would be killing everyone.
And he went after Alberto, too.
Yeah, drivers, when they're nervous and they're, you know, he's now saying, oh, you want me to lose and you want me to this and that, but that's, you know, that's the... You know, these drivers sometimes are like little babies.
Yeah, big mistake from the team. It's okay, it's gonna be a fun race. We start last.
Ouais. Le drama qu'il fallait, quoi.
And this is it. The cars are lining up.
Championship leader Jean-Eric Vergne starts 18th on the grid. If Vergne then goes on to finish in 6th place, he wins the title today.
That is a big ask on a circuit like this.
Surely this championship will go down to the wire tomorrow.
And we go green in New York City.
Bird is up into 12th place, then past Antonio Felix da Costa. Bird making his progress, and Vergne still last.
What is going on with Vergne at the back?
Here we go then. This is where it gets very, very busy in the pit lane.
See Jean-Eric Vergne coming in.
Jean-Eric Vergne has a lot of ground to cover. He's going to steal the championship today.
Strategy 24, Jeff.
Jev has gained a few spots. He's up in 16th now.
Sam Bird up the inside of Nico Prost. Decisive move from the Englishman.
Oui, Nicolas Prost, c'est vrai qu'il faisait de la Formule E aussi. Il était pas très bon d'ailleurs.
Oh, if you're Sam Bird, you look in the mirror and you see Andrew Lotterer, you think, oh, crikey.
And here comes Lotterer on Bird. pushes Sam Bird down to 10th place. Look at that, he's slowing him up as well. This is going to be a tough weekend now for Sam Bird. Here comes Jean-Eric Verne, and he is carving his way through the pack.
Oh, remontada.
Jev has advanced all the way to 9th.
I tell you what, this is a different Jean-Eric Verne. He's handling the pressure so well.
Lotterer then ahead of Bird, ahead of Lynn, ahead of Verne in that black and gold Tachita. Jev up the inside of Alex Lynn, and now he's right behind Sam Bird.
That's a horrible feeling. You look in the mirror and you see the championship contender, the guy you do not want to see gaining on you.
And here comes Jean-Eric Verne up the inside of Sam Bird, and he's through.
Il est arrivé de loin.
Hey, there's not much I can do. We're just not efficient.
So Jean-Eric Verne now 7th place, only one spot away from where he needs to be to take the title. And the man in that position is his teammate Andre Lotterer.
Bah oui, forcément.
And Lotterer slows down to let his teammate pass.
Évidemment.
The checker flag falls. Jean-Eric Verne across the line in 5th place seals the Season 4 Formula E Championship.
Oh, God, it feels good. Oh, this season is for my country.
Le seum de Sam Bird.
I'm here with Sam Bird. Sam's so close. So close.
Oh, le câlin entre les deux anciens équipiers. Et rivaux maintenant.
Winning is, that's what we're there for. That's the only reason. Everybody, the whole paddock is there just for that single guy who's going to win the race. When I was young and I finished 2nd, my dad would say, "Oh, here's our first loser." You know, there's only one winner, and he goes home victorious.
The world is going to change. The world has to change to a more sustainable way of living. The energy won't be coming from oil, and combustion engine is for sure going to die. The question is when.
Okay, guys, good to go.
Oh, le cirque, le cinéma.
Are we going to be quick enough to save the planet? I mean, by the way, save the planet is a different question. The planet is not in danger. What is danger is the humans in the planet. The planet doesn't care if we're here or not.
Oui, il n'y a pas tort là-dessus. La planète survivra quoi qu'il arrive en fait.
As a good place for humans to live. That is the question.
Oh, hein?
Et BMW l'a quitté. La place en Formule 1 là, ça devait être un peu de réserve hein, particulière. Ouais, d'accord, c'est vrai. Sérieux, quoi. Il espère toujours le retrouver. Bird, c'est vraiment le wagon de la farce, hein. C'est ce qu'il disait lui-même. Le mec se fait voler son trophée, quand même. C'est incroyable. Bah, c'était sympa, ce petit reportage, enfin, ce long reportage, quand même, 1h30. Bon, au final, on n'a pas vu beaucoup DiCaprio, mais c'est pas le plus important, ça nous a retracé cette saison, donc. Saison 4, remportée par Jev. Saison intéressante. Pour le coup, la dernière avec les premières générations de voitures. Voilà, j'espère que ça vous a plu. Je vous invite à vous abonner à la chaîne si ce n'est pas encore fait. Bye bye.